Loose tire from truck hits passers-by in Tai Kwok Choi. Execution of Kim Jong-un's uncle sends shockwaves across the region. And scuffles break out at last respects to Nelson Mandela. Good evening. There was a rare accident in Tai Kwok Choi this afternoon. A tire came off a lorry while it was traveling along the West Kowloon corridor, injuring 7 people. One of them, an elderly street vendor, was seriously hurt. Rani Samtani reports. The Town Planning Board has cleared the first hurdle in the construction of the city's first high-rise columbarium in Kwai Chung. But because of the size of the project, the Planning Department will conduct further studies and impose appropriate restrictions. Shawada Silva reports. The government task force in charge of political reform is inviting lawmakers to 4 dinner meetings next month to discuss the way forward. But Legislative President Jang Yuk-sing doesn't believe it's proper for him to attend. Vicky Kung has more. Social welfare payments are expected to go up by between 3.8% and 6.5% from February 1st. An estimated 1.1 million people will benefit. The government will be seeking $1.18 billion in funding from the Legislative Finance Committee next week. Among the increases, the old age living allowance will go up by 3.8%. That's an extra $85 a month for recipients. The old age allowance, popularly known as fruit money, will go up by 4.1% to $1,180 a month. Disability allowances will increase by 4.1%. Recipients of normal disability allowance will get $1,510 a month, and those of higher disability allowance, $3,020. And a rental allowance for welfare families will climb 6.5%. Secretary for Labor and Welfare Matthew Jung said today the increases are based on inflation. The welfare chief also visited an elderly home in Kutong this morning. Residents there will have to move out because of government plans to develop the Northeast New Territories. Many of them want to stay put, but Jung said redevelopment will provide a good living environment for more than 900 people at the elderly home in future. He also stressed those living there now can stay for another 4 years, and the government has promised to do what it can to address their concerns. China today marks the 76th anniversary of the Nanjing massacre. About 5,000 people attended a ceremony in Nanjing to mark the occasion. They laid wreaths, released doves, and read out peace declarations in memory of an estimated 300,000 people who were killed by Japanese forces in 1937. Among those on hand, residents of Nanjing, as well as survivors of the massacre and relatives of those killed. Here in Hong Kong, a number of groups rallied at the Japanese Consulate General. They demanded an apology from Tokyo and compensation for victims. The uncle of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has been executed for treason, according to the country's state media. It's the biggest political upheaval in the North since the death of Kim's father, Kim Jong-il, nearly 2 years ago. In response, South Korea says it's increased its surveillance activities and established a task force with the U.S. to deal with any North Korean provocation. Alan Buknia reports. About 100,000 South African mourners waited in line today to view the body of Nelson Mandela, which is lying in state for the 3rd and final day. Most are likely to be turned away before officials remove the casket in the late afternoon. On Thursday, 24,000 managed to pay their last respects. In one waiting area in Pretoria, people pushed open a gate that the police had closed, shouting that they wanted to see Mandela. Some fell to the ground as the crowd surged, and several were slightly injured. Mandela will be buried in his hometown, Kunu, on Sunday. Over in Bangladesh, where the execution of an Islamist opposition leader has sparked violent protests, At least 3 people are dead in a wave of bloodshed ahead of elections next month. Sonia Otero has more. And the weather. The mercury is expected to drop significantly next week, reaching only 12 degrees in the urban areas on Monday. Rain is also expected over the next few days. A few light rain patches overnight. Temperatures tomorrow will range from 17 and 20 degrees. And that's the news. Good night.